I built this ridiculous thing because I wanted to learn. This is my 3-node cluster. And yes, I built it before I actually know what a cluster actually does. I designed it, 3D printed it, assembled the whole thing. Partly because I kept hearing one word from the people who actually know what they're doing.
Cluster.
So I thought, yeah, I want to join this cluster party. But I wanted it to be compact, definitely cheap, and use as much stuff as I had laying about. And most importantly, not require 1 million power plugs. Before we get carried away, let's rewind. This all started with this, the motherboard from a ThinkPad L380. And I'm a big fan of these motherboards in particular. You get an i5 8th gen CPU, 2 RAM slots, USB-C powering, and even a built-in power button. And these days, it's actually cheaper than a Raspberry Pi 5. But of course, a cluster isn't a cluster without some friends. So naturally, I have 4 to hand. 1, 2, 3, and 4. To kick the build off, I had to test out how to power these motherboards, because if my bright idea didn't work, then I'd be in a territory of needing 5 main plugs, 1 for each of the motherboards, and 1 for the switch and 1 for the router. 5. Definitely wanted to avoid this. But a slight complication is, the L380 motherboard doesn't just take dumb 20 volt power in. They expect USB-C power delivery, so something that has to negotiate the power properly. To solve that, I'm using these 65 watt USB-C PD boards. I sold a cable onto the PD boards, connect it up to the 24 volt power supply, and then comes the fun bit, plugging in the USB-C cable and hoping for an LED indicating it's working. We got the LED by the on-off switch, so that's a success. LED, LED, LED. I like it. With my power theory confirmed, it's time to move on to designing the frame to shoehorn everything in. And I guess that means we can continue. For this build, I used 3 ThinkPad L380 motherboards, an unmanaged 5-port switch, 3 USB Ethernet adapters, 3 65 watt USB-C PD boards, 3 60 DDR4 sticks of RAM, a 24 volt to 5 volt 3 amp buck converter, a 350 watt 24 volt power supply, and 3 512GB NVMe SSDs, and a mixture of bolts, heated inserts, M2, M2.5 and M3. With that all said, time to start designing. I used the L380 in a previous build, so I thought it still had the 2D drawings for the mounting holes to hand. Turns out Clever Clogs here didn't save it. But not to worry, I quickly hopped on CAD and knocked up a test frame, 3D printed it, then checked the mounting holes aligned, a little bit of testing, it fitted pretty well. Then it was time to design the actual frame for the cluster. And I was very adamant I didn't want some massive, unwieldy cluster with cables hanging out everywhere. Part of the point of this build was to keep it compact, tidy, and powered from one plug. So I started by drawing the vertical mounting frames for the motherboards. These would be removable from the frame itself and would allow me to do any maintenance on them. And the motherboard frames hang off these slots, which also provides arms for the power supply to be mounted to. Then down below, we have the switch sitting on a tray with 2 screws underneath to secure it. Behind that, a 24 to 5 volt buck on the back. And above the buck, I squeeze in this mini travel router. So the entire setup runs off a single 350 watt 24 volt power supply. And that feeds into a USB-C PD board to power each of the motherboards, and the 24 volt to 5 volt buck to run the switch and the router. Before we start this build, quick side quest story. Let's talk about the real workhorse of this project, my 3D printer. This is a Bamboo Labs A1. This whole cluster was pretty much designed around this one question: what can I physically fit on the bed of my printer? So there was a lot of test prints and a few failed prints along the way. And the printer only completely shit its pants once, with this absolutely nightmare failure where the filament totally engulfed the hot end. Pain in the arse to clean up, took ages. A few other little whoopsies along the way, but nothing major. A bigger printer with failure detection and multicolour printing would be nice. It would have sped this cluster build up a decent amount. But in fairness, the A1 is affordable and it works pretty well for me so far. Enough side quest story. At this point, I had this pile of 3D printed parts which all need to go together. And I start off by assembling the frames which the motherboards will be attached to. Ten heated inserts on each of these, giving me plenty of opportunities to burn my fingers. Attach the holders for the USB to Ethernet adapters. Attach the PD board mount. I screw in the motherboards. Slide in the Ethernet adapters. Then attach a number to each of the motherboards, and job's a good one. With the motherboard frames all assembled, I can then fit the 24 to 5 volt buck on the rear of the base, which, not to gloat, fits pretty nicely, I must say. I'm using this small clip here to hold it down. Bolt down the switch, which is held in place with these two screws from underneath. And then I can bolt the rest of the frame together. I need to cut down some bolts. More assembly. And the frame is complete at this point. I then fit the power supply to the rear, which you might have guessed makes it a bit tail heavy. I quickly slot the motherboards in place, and it's looking pretty much like the drawing. I like it when things work. Next, squeeze the router in the housing and then fit it to the rear of the frame. And the eagle-eyed among you might have noticed the motherboards are missing their RAM and NVMe's. So I pop them out. I fit 16GB of DDR4 RAM on each of them and 500GB of storage. Moving on, I solder wires to the PD boards. On one of the cables I need a wire coming off, so I solder that up as well. I then attach the PD boards to the PD mounts, a bit fiddly. And now I can wire everything up, which is a bit more tricky than I would have liked. And for anyone wondering, I'm using 20 AWG silicon coated wire. Also, you might be able to see a little copper heatsink I've fitted to each of the PD boards. That's because I suspect these might get a little hot. But we're not finished here. Last bit of wiring is powering the router and the switch. And I have some very shaky footage from my phone. I've plugged in a USB-C cable into the buck converter that then plugs into the router. That's 5 volt, sorted. And then using one of these cables, I've cut it down and I've connected up to the switch. And that now is everything on this cluster powered. And now I'm feeling pretty pleased with myself. It looks the part, but I have to find out if it will turn on and not go bang. And quickly, I haven't mentioned that these motherboards are turned on and off by this 3D printed captive button. Quite pleased with that. And there was only one way really to find out if it was going to work. Flick the switch and then turn each of them on. Motherboard 1. Motherboard 2. Motherboard 3.
0, all engine running. We have a liftoff. Liftoff on Apollo.
No smoke or electrical pop. It appears to be working. I'll have a quick look around to see if I can find anything dodgy. But it appears to all look alright. But that smug feeling of project completion soon wore off when I realised the PD boards were stopping the motherboards from being able to be removed from the frame. A pretty large oversight really on my part. Ideally, I should have mounted the PD boards to the frame, not on the motherboards. But it's not worth the redesign, print and assembly. So I'm going to go for the make good approach. Back in CAD, I designed this key joint PD holder that allows me to lower the PD boards so they will clear the hook on the frame and also make them detachable. Double win. Send it off to the printer. And this is how they'll work. It slides in and out and allows me to remove the PD boards from the frame. And I fit each one of them. Pretty fiddly again. With all the frames out, the PD boards dangle pretty precariously, which I'm not too keen on, but it makes the best of a bad bit of design really. And now, the cluster really is built and finished. And to go back to the start of the video where I said this, I built a 3-node cluster before I even knew what a cluster actually does. And that's true. What should I do with this? I think, and think is a key word here, I think I'm going to run a 3-node Proxmox cluster. But if anyone has any suggestions at all of what they think I should look into, or anything I should do on Proxmox in particular, please do let me know. And this is the first video to the cluster project. I'll be doing a follow-up video on what and how I'm running on this. Thanks for watching. Joe.